All right, what's going on, everyone? I got something very encouraging to talk about, and I think you're going to learn a lot. I'm going to keep talking about this because I'm realizing there's a lot of people who really need to hear this. And yeah, I want to keep educating and I want to keep adding value to those who will listen. All right. Yeah, something going on with the camera. All right, what's going on? Got a few things I want to go over that I think will be very valuable. I'm going to show you exactly. I've talked a little bit about this, but I'm going to go into more detail today. Exactly, giving you a blueprint of what you need to be doing. Seriously, we got to get serious, guys. All right, we got one more opportunity, I believe, coming up. As we're exiting out towards the second half of the year, in a sense, and there's some things that you can be doing that I think will give you a reset. Yeah, let's talk about the reset, because I believe you need a reset, especially for people who feel like they missed out, they behind, and they need to really get serious about their future, right? I want you to get serious, y'all. Listen, hey, from Massachusetts, what's going on, guys? Let me open up the chats. I want to make sure that I can see these chats. All right, because I had them closed for a minute. All right, what's going on? Okay, so listen, I want to, first of all, it doesn't cost you anything. Can you please like the video? It really helps get these videos out to more people. I really want to help you. Class is in session, breezy bree. All right. Um, Wealth is not, it's not an accident. It's not magic. I want you to know that it's math, it's mindset, and it's movement. Okay. And what you own, listen to this, what you own is more important than what you earn, because ownership builds freedom. But as we know, spending builds stress, and that's where a lot of people are. And I want to help you get out of that. And I want to teach you the game plan, right? I got to teach you the game plan so that you can understand. Now, again, hit that like button, share this video. If you haven't subscribed to my page already, make sure you go ahead and do that. If you're still interested in the challenge, it's in the description. I do want to say this is not your I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I don't know your bank account. I don't know your crypto wallet. I don't know your Amazon spending habits. For all I know, you might be watching this while you buying something right now that you don't need to buy. So be clear. Do your own research. Don't come back blaming me when you get stressed out about your money because you spent it all on Uber Eats, okay? Let your financial advisor give you a 50-year plan to pull you out the dungeon. I'm here to just help you stop being broke and start thinking like someone who owns things and not just owes things, right? So carry on, invest wisely. And because I'm a health coach, I got to say this also. Make sure you hydrate, okay? Now, let's get into this. Let's get into this because I got a lot to say. I was being funny, when I said like Amazon spending and, but the truth is, listen, if you can afford Uber Eats and new clothes, you can afford assets. So if any of you all have ordered from Uber Eats or Amazon in the last 6 months, you can afford assets. Okay. Most people, there are a lot of people are broke, right? But I keep saying this, it's not because they don't have money, it's because they keep prioritizing everything except assets. I want to talk a little bit about assets today, how they're used. I get that people like to spend their money because we are conditioned to spend and not build. But if you want financial freedom, y'all, hear me out. If you want your money to grow while you're sleeping, then you need to start thinking like someone who owns the future, not someone who's renting the past. That's what it feels like when you're in these cycles. And no, let me just take the weight off your shoulders. You don't need $100,000 to start investing, y'all. You don't need to be rich already. You need a strategy. You need consistency. It's just that simple. So I'm going to help you to understand why assets. Again, I'm hitting this thing on assets because I'm realizing not enough people have them. Why assets are the secret to building generational wealth. And I want to talk a bit about Bitcoin. Like, there are still some people who don't own any Bitcoin, right? Or any other appreciating asset. And you may, again, feel like you don't have enough to invest, but I'm going to show you how you can turn that story around. Okay, starting right now, right? because too many people I know, I ask people, do you own any Bitcoin? And it's like, I even ask people like just about cryptocurrency in general. And it's a very small percentage of people who really understand cryptocurrency and who owns it. And sometimes it's just a lot of fear connected to it. Okay. The thing is like, even if you ask people, it's like crypto ain't that, I don't trust that stuff, you know. So you know, yeah, it's a thing. So it's time to just get educated so you can understand it. Get some understanding before you miss out. You're missing out. Other people are getting involved and you're gonna be to the party real late. Most people are literally still arguing to this day whether or not crypto is real. Bitcoin has already pretty much and is becoming one of the most valuable assets. Okay. Let me give you perspective so you can understand what you're missing out on. If you had bought $100 worth of Bitcoin in 2013, that is about 12 years ago. If you just spent $100, now I ain't even gonna tell you how much you have if you spent $1,000. But if you spent $100 worth of Bitcoin back in 2013, today you would have $2.5 million in 12 years. You got to understand, I know some of y'all want more than $2.5 million. I get that. But I'm talking about this is per $100. So if you had $200 in Bitcoin, do the math, double that. If you had $300 in Bitcoin, do the math. Okay. This is not a fantasy. This is math. And it's not because like Bitcoin is magic or anything like that. It's because most people have waited too long. They just didn't understand it, or they thought it was too expensive. You know how many people said Bitcoin was expensive at 100 and then it's expensive at 1,000? All right. Netflix is at 1,000 and people's eyes get big when I tell them to buy Netflix. Their eyes get big. Okay, we'll wait for it to come down. And you guys will have an opportunity. Don't I'm going to share some things with you. It's another round coming for you to buy in. Trust me, it's coming. Hopefully, okay. This market is doing so well. It almost Tom Lee said this is the most hated V-shaped recovery in the stock market to ever exist. And it really is. It's a blessing if you got in at the bottom, but it came right back up. But it might come back down. So we just got to wait and see. But people, of course, at 10,000 and 100,000, they don't want to buy Bitcoin. But the lesson is that most people don't miss wealth because they're too late. They miss it because their mindset always tells them it's too late. If you always telling yourself you too late, you're not going to ever get in. And the truth is, we really are still early. Trust me. Hindsight is 2020. 5 years from now, you're going to thank me. Somebody is going to thank me. Buy some Bitcoin, people. Okay. Buy something that will appreciate. Now, that does not mean, let me just help you out. That does not mean that it's not going to come down. I hope it do come down. Shoot, it'll make it more affordable to buy back in. But it's going to go up. Okay. It's not a trend. It's a reserve asset. It's something that institutions, corporations, and entire nations are now looking as a long-term storage of value. Did you hear what I said? Like the video for me. They are waiting to invest large amounts. So what does that mean for you? It means you don't have to buy the whole coin. You don't need the whole 100,000. You can just buy whatever you have, $10 worth. Whatever you put in it, if you put $10 in it, as it goes up, your $10 go up. Okay. And you can keep putting money in it. You can put money in it daily. You can put money in it weekly. I have an automation set on Bitcoin. Let me tell you something. Someday Bitcoin, and it ain't going to be too much. It's not like it's going to be Bitcoin going to be $1 million and y'all going to be looking crazy. Many top analysts predict that Bitcoin will reach 1 million and 2 million and someday 10 million. Okay. So you got to understand, even right now, 5x, 10x, even 100x down the line, like it's something you can save as an asset for your family. Okay. But if you only watching and you just watching the charts go up and you watching people talking, you like, I'll do this. Okay. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Y'all need to wake up. Wake up. Don't order Uber. Put $5 in Bitcoin. Put $10 in Bitcoin. Okay. Now I'm not saying I put money in Bitcoin no matter where it's at, in a sense. But if it pulls back 3%, I'm putting money in there. If it pulls back 5%, oh yeah, I'm putting money in there. If it pulls back 10%, oh, I'm loading up. If it pulls back 20%, oh, I'm all in. Okay. I'm all in because you're buying at a really, really good rate at that point. But even at the top at this moment, if you're looking 5, 10, 20 years down the line, you are still early. Okay. So, it's time to stop thinking about it, talking about it, and all that. Stop shopping. Start stacking assets, y'all. Assets is the new sexy. Assets is the new sexy. Okay. Buy you some Bitcoin. Now, I'm going to help you to understand because some of y'all don't understand. I get a lot of people who say, well, if you pass assets down to your kids, how do you get money from it if you don't sell it? Because wealthy people don't sell assets like that. Now, I'm not saying in the stock market or in cryptocurrency, you can't get a profit as you go along. Yeah, you can. But there's a difference between your short term, your leaps and your swing trades and stuff like that, and your long term assets that you don't want to touch, that you're passing down to the next generation. Okay, so I'm going to help you understand that. And before you get off this live, you're going to understand how it works. Okay, so let's just clear this up. I'm going to give you the game. Okay, wealthy people are not living off of paycheck. They don't live paycheck to paycheck and all of that. Matter of fact, the cash flow that they do have when they're working, they always move those into investments. Okay. Y'all got it all wrong. Y'all spending all y'all money. You get paid and now you're going shopping. Now you're going to entertainment. You're taking trips. You're doing all kind of stuff. Okay. They live off their assets, but I'm going to show you how, because how can somebody live off their assets if they never spend it, right? That's a question that lingers in people's heads. Now, if someone, let's say they're worth $10 million, just understand this. When we hear, oh, this person's a billionaire, this person's worth 100 million, 500 million, that does not mean they have 10 million in the bank, okay? You got to understand this is assets. Let me look at some of the XRP, XLM. That's right. I'm loaded up on XRP. I'm loaded up on XLM. I'm even loaded up on XDC. I'm loaded up on a lot of them. Okay. How do you obtain EFT and Netflix? You can open up a brokerage account. You can go through Webull. You can go through Moomoo. You can go through Robinhood. Robinhood is really good for beginners. Charles and Schwab's, that's a little bit more advanced for some people, but I love it. So you can go through any brokerage account. All right, I just wanted to look at the comments for a minute. All right, so again, somebody's worth $500 million. Their money is in assets. It's not like they have the cash. Like, that's why, like, people are always wondering why wealthy people, I don't have the cash for it. Their money is in usually like real estate, the stock market, businesses, you guys, businesses for taxes, especially crypto, art, intellectual property, any kind of asset. And what happens is those assets, they grow in value, and then the assets pay them. How does that happen? Because assets can be leveraged to create more cash flow without being sold. All right. So, and I'm going to help you to understand that. Now, so you got to think about this. This is what most people don't realize why y'all out there trying to get, like, oh, I'm making $100,000. I'm making, people make money, people lose money. Okay. Especially when they don't know what to do. A person making $200,000 a year with zero assets is in a worse position than someone making like 70,000, but steadily building an asset base that compounds over time. Okay. So I'm telling you, like, people who are like super flashy, they wear all they, you know what I'm saying? Like they have all their money on their back, expensive cars, all of that, oh, I'm making this much, I'm I'm telling you, listen, I listened to a I've heard people testify how they lost hundreds of millions of dollars by just spending more they had, the more they spent. They just banned everything, right? And let's take that even a little bit further, because and I've shared this before, but even in the Bible talks about assets, right? Wealthy people were not in the Bible measured by cash. They were measured by what they owned. Y'all hear me? Hit the like button for me. What they own. So when you're talking about Abraham, he had livestock and land and silver. Okay. All right, I was looking at the comments. Solomon, gold, vineyards, and entire trade systems. Okay. The Proverbs 31 woman, real estate. She's a real estate investor and a merchant. Okay. God's people were not just workers, they were asset holders. And those assets could be passed down. That was the whole point, from generation to generation. So today, some of the versions of our assets look like stocks, real estate, businesses, cryptocurrency, intellectual property, art, anything that appreciates, right? And I told you about stocks, and I'm going to tell you again how this all works in greater detail. But I told you even about stocks. Usually the month of September is a down month in the stock market, right? I don't know if we'll reach it. Maybe we will. This stock market has done so well, but historically, September is the worst month. August sometime runs sideways. We may get some dips. Hopefully we do. Like you know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants the stock market always to be up. No, I need it to come down too. I need to get these at some good rates. Okay. I want it to come down because I am ready to buy. But the problem is people be so scared when it come down because it's like, oh, it's bottoming out. I don't know what I'm going to do. And they be so scared. I'm telling you, that's your opportunity. Buy. Okay. So if in September, if Bitcoin pulls back, if cryptocurrency pulls back, any large pullback where it looks like we're about to just crash, buy. Okay. Just put your emotions to the side and don't think like, oh, I'm cashing out tomorrow. You're not scalp trading. You're not day trading. Okay. You're looking into the future. You need some assets and you need to get them on sale at a really, really good price. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't dollar cost average in. You can average up, you can average down, especially on like ETFs and stuff like that. But you really want to make sure that you're buying if the stock market has any type of correction. Okay. Now, if you are still trying to save your way to wealth with a regular job, because that's what some people doing. Like, I'm saving. Nope. I'm disciplined. I'm saving my money. Listen, if you're trying to save your money into wealth, you're going to need a paradigm shift. I'm just going to tell you right now. You're not going to save your way into wealth. I'm sorry to tell you. Okay. You can put a little emergency fund to the side. You can pay your bills and your livelihood. You will not get wealthy saving your money. That's not the way it works, guys. Okay. You can't, it's only so much you can pass down when you can't do it that way. The only time you can do a cash whole life policy and it become your bank and you can borrow against your cash. That's another training for a different day. And I have those as well. Okay. And you can do them on your children too. Okay. So here's what you got to understand. Jobs will give you income, but assets give you freedom. Okay. All right. Jobs get taxed first, but assets can be leveraged and protected. That's why some people don't understand, well, how this person make $5 million and they didn't pay as much taxes because they don't have a W-2. We got to get educated, y'all. They don't have a W-2. Yes, you're going to get taxed on a W-2. When you have a business, when you have an asset, there are tax breaks. There are all kinds of things. You can take losses on your business and just, you have more options. Okay. They don't operate like y'all. They're not getting a W-2. Okay. So anybody who's upset that wealthy people sometimes don't pay as much taxes is because you don't understand how it all works. Okay. And I'm not saying that wealthy people should be generous. And I agree with that. But what I'm just saying is that it doesn't work the way you want it to work. Okay. And it's no sense in getting mad at them. You just need to follow what they're doing. Okay. Get a business, get some assets, start buying things that appreciate. Okay. And then you can get some tax benefits and you can maneuver with some wisdom with taxes. Okay. Jobs pay you once. Listen to this. Assets can pay you for a life. Right. And I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. You do need cash flow. You need cash flow to pay your bills. But I'm saying don't build your life around a paycheck. That's not going to work. You have to build your life around something that appreciates, something that compounds, something that multiplies. There was a testimony of a guy who was making $8 an hour in a parking lot who saved up $1 million because he invested all his paychecks. He only lived off a small little percentage. And they was trying to ask him, like, how did you make this money and you don't even get paid much? Easy. I didn't spend it all like everybody else do. right? So he got more money than maybe somebody who makes $1 million a year. It's people who make $1 million a year and still don't have that to show. Okay. So that's what wealthy people do, is that they don't save to save. They save to own. They are looking, even if their money is on the sideline, they're looking for an investment. They're looking, where can I go? You know what I'm saying? They use their income to buy assets and not just stuff. And while the world keeps shopping and scrolling and stalling, they are stacking quietly, consistently, and strategically. I'm telling y'all what I know. So you got to ask yourself right now, what would your life look like 10 years from now if you focus more on ownership than on earnings? Because that's the question that wealthy people have already answered. Okay. Now, I want to explain to you, how do you leverage assets like the wealthy? If you never spend it, how am I getting money from this? Right. So you got to understand, first of all, what assets are. So let's talk about what wealthy people do with them for a moment. Let me look at the comments and hit the like button if you haven't. Okay. The last crypto pullback was like a month ago. XRP went down. And when it went down, guess who was buying? Okay. I hope somebody was buying. Every time it pulls back. I grabbed some last year when it was around 60K. Yes. I wish I had grabbed it even much sooner. I was grabbing it under 20K. All right. Somebody said cut off. Do y'all still hear me? Just want to make sure. Just want to make sure that y'all still hear me. Just put it in the chat. Just making sure. They leverage real estate to beat taxes. Yes. Information was withheld for empowerment needy. Absolutely. All right. Y'all can hear me? Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Okay. So how do you leverage assets? Okay. So let's talk about what wealthy people do with them, because they don't just buy and hold. Again, if you're doing short-term swings and stuff like that, yes, but they don't just buy and hold. These are generational assets. So how can we pass these down to our kids, but we still get money from it? Okay. So this is where we explain leverage, y'all. Put leverage in the chat. Put leverage in the chat, because this is what we're about to do and learn. Okay. So they do not sell their assets. They borrow against them. Now, let me explain how that works. Okay. Because most people, if you get most people who would get a portfolio, maybe to $1 million, they might be like, hey, I got $1 million. Hey, we about to party. Okay, you about to go what? Buy what? What, you about to just lose all your money? Nothing to leverage. Okay, nothing to leverage. Let's stop. Let's stop the record real quick. You got nothing to leverage once you go start spending your money. And the reality is that you can start making money with the money. Okay. So they don't cash out at all. They collateralize. Okay. And what that means is, instead of liquidating stocks and real estate and crypto when they need money, they go to the bank or to a private lender and they say, here's my Bitcoin, here's my stock portfolio, here's my real estate. And they borrow against the value of the asset. Okay. How does that work? Right. Again, if you do have a cash insurance policy, you can borrow against your cash insurance policy. The money goes nowhere. It's not like a savings account, a market account, where once you take the money out, it's gone. No, you borrow against it. And that type of loan, and that's a cash flow policy. So you can have your own bank. But what I'm saying is, most people, they can go to a private lender or banks to borrow against the asset. And the loan is often tax-free. It's flexible, and it can be used for anything: reinvesting, living expenses, even launching a business, right? But here's the secret sauce. If the asset is appreciating faster than the interest on the loan, then they're essentially getting paid to borrow their own money. Y'all probably don't even understand that. Let me say that again. If the asset is appreciating faster than the interest on the loan, they're essentially getting paid to borrow. Okay, so let me give you numbers so you can understand this. Let's say it's two ways to do this. One is a better way, but it's still two ways to do this. Let's say you have 100K in Bitcoin and you borrow 30K against it. Okay, at 6% interest. Okay, so you have 6% interest on that. But Bitcoin appreciates at 25% over the next year, right? So that'll be 125,000 if it's appreciating. Now that means that you made 25K in growth, but you only paid 1.8K in interest, less than 2,000 in interest, but you grew $25,000. Now, that's one way to do it. That's not the best way, because you still will, if you wanted to use your Bitcoin to pay off the loan, you still have to come down just a little bit. However, but what if this is like an investment, another investment, or what if this real estate? Then that changes the whole outcome of everything, because the money that you borrow, if it's going to get you more money because it's another investment, now you're making money off that investment. Your Bitcoin is still going up at a certain percentage, and it's a win-win. You wind up with more money at the end, long story short. But here's an even more brilliant way. The second option to borrow against an asset, I was just using Bitcoin for example, is say you have an asset, again, worth $100,000, and you borrow 10%, 10% of that asset. I'm just making clean numbers because that's $10,000 at 6%. So you borrow $10,000 at 6%. That's $600. It costs you $600 to borrow $10,000. So that's $10.6 thousand. However, again, if that asset is up 25% that year, then that means you're at 125 at the end of the year, right? So 125 minus the 10.6K is still a 14.4K increase that year. You are still up, and you paid yourself out of the asset, and you didn't sell anything. And now next year, the percentage is not going to be on the 100K. It's going to be on the 125K minus the 10.6. So the 114,000 and 114, did I say 6 or 4? 114 and 4, because it's 600. Okay. Trying to get the math right. So I hope you follow along with that. So you got 125, you got 10K out of it at 6% interest. So that's $600. And so when you subtract everything, you're still up to 114, over 114,000. Let's just say that. And you took $10,000 out. So you were able to take the money out, and then the next year pay off that debt and still increase the asset of that, right? So, and you didn't have to sell anything. So this is what I'm trying to say with this, okay? And hopefully, if you don't follow along, just go back and listen to it. Write the numbers down if it didn't register, okay? So you don't live off the labor, because that's what people do on their paychecks. You don't live off the labor, you live off the leverage. So let's say somebody had $1 million and they did the same principle, 10%, $100,000. They're able to pay themselves $100,000. As long as you're borrowing smartly in a lesser amount than what it's appreciating, the next year you can come back and pay that loan off, and that asset still appreciates because you still have it appreciating at a higher rate than you are taking out the debt. Okay. So you're not borrowing recklessly, you are borrowing intelligently. Okay. And that is the power of assets, is that it gives you options, and options are the true currency of freedom. Now, let's say you took that million and you went shopping and you splurged and you showing people how much you got. Now you ain't got nothing to leverage. Now you can't pay yourself. And guess what? If your asset is appreciating year after year, then you can give yourself a raise every single year. Now imagine wealthy families doing this for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations, just passing the assets through, teaching their children how to manage, how to leverage it, how to borrow against it. It's still appreciating. You still borrow a small percent. Each year it appreciates, and now you're getting a percentage of that plus the appreciation. And then the next year you get a percentage of that plus the appreciation, and you can increase how much you're giving yourself each year, all the way down the bloodline. Hey, y'all, manage this asset, move it on through. How you think people wind up with billions of dollars and then their babies come out having billions and billions of dollars? This is what they do. They don't do it through paychecks and cash. They do it through assets. So while y'all spending money on Amazon, wake up and smell the coffee. We got to get this stuff together, y'all, right? So the angle is this: you can use appreciating assets you can fund your lifestyle. You can build another stream, income stream. You can invest in higher yield opportunities, or you can even take time off without wrecking your cash flow, right? And again, if that asset grows faster than your loan, because you got to play that smart, then you've just built wealth while funding your life. Now ask yourself, are you spending money on things that lose value the moment you buy it? Or are you building ownership in things that could one day fund your freedom? Because the longer you're going to wait to shift, the more you're going to be stuck in a cycle, working harder for less freedom, y'all. Okay. I hope y'all understand this. So borrow to invest, pay back what you borrowed while making money. There you go. So the next year, as it appreciates higher than what you borrowed against it, you can pay that back. The asset has appreciated even more. And then that next year, you can borrow again. And you rinse and repeat, and you teach your kids and you teach your kids' kid, rinse and repeat. Do not sell the asset. Actually, build off the asset, because it's easy for money to make money when you leverage it. That asset is going to make money all by itself. Now imagine if you keep investing in it. Oh, we talking about compounding growth, y'all. Like, imagine that. The sky is the limit, y'all. The sky is the limit. I'm telling you, right? So now what you got to do, here's the homework. Got to get real. Here we go. You say you want to build wealth, okay? Because it's time to audit. You say you're going to invest real soon, all right? You say, I'm tired of being stuck. I'm tired of, oh yeah, I got to do that. Don't say what you got to do. Just do it, y'all. Forget it. Do it, okay? Your mouth is saying that you want wealth, but your habits keep trying to keep you in this survival mode. And this is where most people stay stuck, because they are still in denial. If you are waiting to feel comfortable, I'm telling you right now, just know that comfort is costing you everything right now. It's costing you your wealth, your assets, your generational wealth, your children, your children's children, based off of the decisions that you're making right now, right? So this is your reality check. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Ain't that simple, y'all? If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Do you like what you're getting? Okay, well then let's do an audit. Financial audit. Where's your money going? No, where's it actually going? Like every week, look at your bank account. Look at the last 2 months. Where's your money going? Now, look at that, and then you can make some different decisions. How much are you spending on distractions? How much are you spending on DoorDash, Amazon, random subscriptions, emotional buys, right? How much are you spending on that? How often are you investing in assets versus your instant gratification? Okay. How many financial decisions are you making that's based on fear or boredom or insecurity? All right. Let's get honest, because you got to stop prioritizing comfort over freedom. It's time to interrupt the pattern. And that's what I want to remind you. You have to disrupt yourself. It's you that has to be disrupted. I'm sorry to be so strong, y'all, but I really want y'all wealthy. I do. I really want y'all to start investing in assets, and I want you to see it as the new sexy. It is the thing. Like, you feel confident. You looking at your account, and you looking at everybody else. Oh, okay, y'all look wealthy, but are you really wealthy? Because I'm looking at my account like I'm really wealthy, like I got it going on. You know what I'm saying? You want wealth, then start saying no to things that bring you short-term relief. All right, and short-term relief and long-term regret. All right. Delete all the apps that's triggering you to spend. Put a cap on your weekly personal spending budget. All right. Create a separate account just for investing. Automate it, even if it's $5 a week, even if it's $5 or $10 a week, whatever you can do, just automate it. If you say, I don't got put $1 a week, let's get it started. It don't matter how much, y'all. It just matters that you get moving. Automate it so that your feelings don't get a vote in this. Your future is in control right now. Your tomorrow is in control. And let me say something really bold. If you don't feel uncomfortable, you are not building wealth. I'm telling you, you babysitting old patterns. Wealth requires friction. It requires stretching. It requires making hard decisions for your future, right? Even if your current self starts to complain about it, you gotta grow up. It's time to grow up. Kids get everything they want right now. Like, you got to think tomorrow. You can't just keep thinking today, right? So and what I don't want, I'm really passionate about this, because I really want to see you guys grow, and I don't want you to wait until life forces you to change. Choose to change before the pain gets louder, because it's gonna get louder, y'all. This economy, it's gonna bring you some stuff, and if you're not prepared, I'm telling you, you're gonna wish you could have just listened. Small little steps. It don't have to be nothing big. Interrupt your pattern right now, or your patterns will interrupt your potential later. and stop playing guessing games with your life. Get serious about it. It's time to get very intentional. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose purpose over impulse. Choose legacy over lifestyle. You will get rich on purpose. I promise you. Take 1 year, y'all. Take 1 year, not 30 days, not 6 weeks. Take 1 year and go all in. Cut back, save up, and invest. Like everything depends on it. Think about your grandbabies. Think about your children's children. Think about all of them. Think about the struggle you had to go through, and maybe what somebody didn't do for you. I'm telling you, you will bask in the enjoyment in the future. In the near future, because there's some opportunities, like I said, that's coming real soon. And if you don't do it now, when will you do it? Right? That's why I'm just trying to really get y'all to do it when you don't, because I want so many testimonies. I want to hear all of the testimonies about where you are this time next year. And I'm gonna tell you, the longer you wait, the harder it gets. It's time to plant the seed right now today, because the harvest you're dreaming about won't grow from good intentions. This is not about good intentions. You got to make some decisions. All right. Hit that like button. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Listen, if you are, make sure you subscribe to the page. If you're not, put it in the comments. What do you want by this time next year? Let's hear some goals. Let's like really inspire and encourage one another, because that's what we need. That's what this community is for. I'm here for you. I really want to help you. I want to add value to you. I want to help you have the game plan in place as you move forward. So I'll continue to be back on doing content. If there's something specific you want me to talk about, put it in the comment box. Just let me know. And I'm telling you, I read them. I'm here, to answer those questions. If you haven't already, make sure that you visit the link in the description on the 90-day health and wealth challenge. Inside, you'll get a full roadmap to build wealth. Even if you're starting from zero, right? You get systems to reset your mindset, your habits, your money behaviors. You'll get clear instructions on what to invest in: stocks, ETFs, crypto, coaching, to stop emotional spending, because that's a lot of times what you're doing, and break the fear patterns that keep people broke. We're going to break those fear patterns, and you're going to get a supportive community to help you stay focused and very consistent. We don't just talk about money. We change the way you think, the way you behave, and the way you build from the inside out. Okay. So you don't need hype. You need a strategy. You need clarity. You need support. And if you're tired of doing it on your own, make sure you visit the link in the description and plug into something new that actually works. I'm just looking at the comments right now. Hey, I see the comments. And I hope you guys make a move. Buy some Bitcoin. Shoot, I think it might be down a little bit today. I'm happy that this is on time, Coach Bird. Make sure you get some assets, even if it's $5. Do me a favor, y'all. In the next 24 hours, I don't care what it is. Buy something. Buy something that's $5. I don't care if it's just buy something that's $5, an asset. Okay. Look at what's red. Look at the stock. You can go in your brokerage account. Look at what's red. Buy an ETF. Buy one SCHD. That's a dividend stock. It's under $30. Put $5 on it. If you can't put the whole $30, put $5 on it. Okay. All right. I'm out of here. I'll be back. And listen, I'm going to leave you with this. Thank you so much. It's time to start one thing. And then when we come back, I want you to tell me, what did you put your $5 in? What did you put your $10 in? That's all I'm saying. Just do that one thing. I'm telling you, it'll set you in motion right away. All right. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is filled with decisions. So make right ones. I'll see y'all next time.